the fact that they want money from us still after the millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars they made, especially right after his death, about Erika bragging about hat orders and stuff. Yeah, I quit for a reason, and it's because they're scammers. They want our money after all of this.
I don't need money, but when I saw thousands of friends reach out and donate on our behalf, I was nearly brought to tears.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same grift.
So it turns out Erika waited just 24 days after Charlie passed before trademark applications connected to his name were filed. Public records show those filings were submitted on October 4th, 2025, less than a month after September 10th. That timeline alone has become one of the biggest talking points online. For many people watching this story unfold, the timing immediately raised difficult questions. They aren't just asking what happened, they're asking why it happened so quickly. At this point, plenty of people have stopped using the phrase "everyone grieves differently" to explain every decision that's been made. Fair or not, many critics believe the pattern of events since September 10th has made them far more skeptical than they were at the beginning. They argue that one unusual decision might be understandable on its own, but several controversial choices in a row naturally invite closer scrutiny.
The fact that we were able to pull off an event of the century, like, it's just insane. We had over 275,000 people that attended, and the stadium, overflow, Westgate, insane, you guys. And then you have, is it 100 million? We're at like over 200,000 for merch sales. Don't quote me on that because I think it just keeps like bumping up like crazy.
Whether people agree with those conclusions or not, it's clear that public trust has changed dramatically. Think about the timeline for a second. Only 3 weeks after losing her husband in such a tragic and highly public way, trademark paperwork connected to his name had already been prepared and submitted. For supporters, that could simply reflect legal advice about protecting a public figure's name before someone else tried to use it. Critics, however, see something very different. They question whether brand protection became a priority unusually quickly, and that's exactly why this issue continues to spark debate across social media. Then there's another trademark application that has fueled even more discussion. Erika has also sought protection connected to the initials CK. That immediately caught people's attention, because those same initials are famously associated with Calvin Klein. Online users quickly began comparing the two, with some even tagging Calvin Klein on social media and encouraging the company to review the situation. Whether anything comes from those posts is another matter entirely, but they show just how much attention this story has attracted.
But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
To be clear, trademark disputes depend on specific legal standards, and simply filing an application does not automatically mean there is infringement. Even so, the conversation online has exploded because many people believe the similarities deserve a closer look. Right or wrong, those comparisons have spread far beyond the original audience following the story. For critics, though, this isn't just about trademarks. They point to what they see as a larger pattern. They frequently bring up reports that merchandise connected to Charlie was being sold around the time of memorial events. Supporters argue those efforts honored Charlie's legacy and helped continue his mission. Detractors argue they looked uncomfortably commercial during a period when emotions were still incredibly raw. That disagreement remains one of the biggest divides in this entire controversy. Because of that backdrop, later comments accusing others of profiting from Charlie's death immediately drew even more attention. During a Fox News appearance in December 2025, Erika criticized Candace Owens and suggested she was benefiting financially by focusing on Turning Point USA. Around the same period, Charlie Kirk's new co-host, Blake Neff, also argued that nobody had profited more from Charlie's passing than Candace Owens. Those remarks quickly spread online and became another flashpoint in an already heated public debate. Critics immediately pushed back against those claims. Their argument was straightforward. They questioned whether it was fair to focus on someone else's YouTube revenue while overlooking the fundraising, merchandise sales, trademark activity, and financial growth that followed Charlie's death.
So it's not about like Charlie and stuff. This is about this organization wanting more money from college students, of all people too, to fund what they're doing, their train wreck, basically what they're doing. Because no one likes Erika, bro. Whether you think she had a foreknowledge or not, just surface level, no one likes her. She's not likable. She's not furthering Charlie's mission. She's extremely suspicious. So the fact that they want money from us still, after the millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars they made, especially right after his death, about Erika bragging about hat orders and stuff, it's just like, so Blake or Andrew or Erika, whoever sees this, I don't want these anymore, bro. Stop sending these to me. Back-to-back weeks, by the way. So, yeah, I quit for a reason, and it's because they're scammers. They want our money after all of this.
Whether that comparison is persuasive depends on the viewer, but it's a point that continues to surface again and again whenever this controversy is discussed. Reports about finances only added more fuel to the public conversation. According to a report by Money Control, Erika's reported wealth increased after Charlie's passing, while new donations connected to the organization reportedly reached millions of dollars in the weeks that followed. Those figures have become a major part of the online debate, with supporters viewing the donations as a reflection of public support for Charlie's legacy, while critics argue the financial growth makes questions about timing and commercialization even harder to ignore. That contrast is exactly why this story continues to dominate headlines and social media discussions months later. And let's not forget the Zoom call that quickly spread across social media. Critics have repeatedly pointed to that recording because they believe Erika sounded enthusiastic while discussing merchandise sales connected to Charlie's memorial. The clip has been shared countless times, with many viewers saying the tone of the conversation felt completely out of step with the circumstances. Supporters, of course, argue the comments have been taken out of context, but regardless of where people stand, the recording continues to generate strong reactions every time it resurfaces.
These back-to-back weeks, by the way, like back-to-back weeks. So let's read the first one. Dear friend, we are Charlie Kirk. That's the message thousands of Americans are carrying out, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, if you would like one of these wristbands, blah, 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 your gift would honor Charlie's legacy to fuel Turning Point USA's fight to protect the liberty of all our people. And then it gives you a thing to write a check and send money to them. So that's the first one. And then, dear Patriot, no one loved this nation, God, or the truth more than Charlie. This is Riley Gaines talking. So please return your signed pledge of support along with your most generous gift. Every dollar will help support our unprecedented growth and continue our campus tours, blah, blah, blah. Charlie gave everything he had to save our country, and we will too, blah, blah, blah. And then it gives you a thing to send money to them.
In the clip, Erika discusses merchandise sales that reportedly exceeded $200,000. To supporters, that represented financial support from people who wanted to honor Charlie's legacy. To critics, however, celebrating those numbers so soon after such a tragedy came across as deeply uncomfortable. That difference in interpretation has become one of the biggest dividing lines in this entire story, and neither side appears willing to back down. The debate didn't stop there because the merchandise operation has continued. Today, visitors to the Turning Point merchandise store can still find a wide range of products connected to Charlie's legacy and Erika's public image. The catalog includes premium-priced hats, t-shirts, and other branded apparel that continue to attract attention online. Every new product launch seems to spark another round of discussion, with supporters calling it a way to keep Charlie's message alive while critics question whether the branding has become too commercial. Among the products are shirts featuring slogans aimed at supporters, along with designs showing illustrations of Charlie, Erika, and their children.
If you look at the staff on that branch specifically, it says 0. It says there's nobody employed in that branch, yet they're pouring $5 million into funds for employees. Make it make sense. That sounds like money laundering to me. It sounds like there's some pyramid scheme going on behind the scenes at Turning Point that Charlie did not know about originally, and I think that he was planning to expose that, and that's ultimately what got him killed.
One design carries the phrase "Never Surrender" alongside the words "Love an American Mother." That particular shirt has generated especially strong reactions. Supporters see it as a message about family and perseverance. Critics, however, have questioned whether personal family imagery should be used so prominently in fundraising merchandise. Once again, the same facts have produced two completely different interpretations. Price tags have also become part of the conversation. Some shirts sell for more than $50, while hats are priced similarly. Critics argue those prices are surprisingly high for relatively simple apparel. Supporters counter that political organizations often charge premium prices because supporters understand they're contributing to a broader mission rather than simply buying clothing. Whether people view the products as merchandise or donations disguised as merchandise largely depends on which side of the debate they're already on. Another detail has fueled even more discussion. Some online commentators noticed that product descriptions describe the company as being based in the USA, rather than explicitly stating the products are made in the USA. That wording immediately caught attention because many buyers associate conservative branding with domestic manufacturing. Critics have argued the distinction matters, while others point out that many organizations use global manufacturing regardless of their political affiliation. Even so, the wording has become yet another topic people continue debating online. At the same time, fundraising efforts have remained highly visible. Many supporters continue donating because they believe they're helping preserve Charlie's work and expand the organization's mission.
You will not be shaken, because you are covered by the blood of Jesus.
Others, however, say they're growing increasingly frustrated with repeated fundraising appeals arriving through the mail and email. Some former supporters have openly questioned how often additional donations should be requested after reports that millions had already been raised following Charlie's death. That frustration became even more visible when a former Turning Point USA staff member posted a video sharing his own perspective. Because he previously worked inside the organization, his comments immediately attracted attention from both supporters and critics. In the video, he explained that he had grown tired of receiving repeated donation requests tied to Charlie's name. He also questioned why additional fundraising remained so aggressive, despite reports of significant financial support already coming into the organization after receipt. September 10th, the former staff member went further by saying he personally viewed aspects of the situation as suspicious. Those remarks quickly spread across social media, with many people pointing to his experience inside the organization as giving his opinion added weight. Others pushed back, arguing that one former employee's criticism should not automatically be treated as proof of wrongdoing. Even so, the video became another major talking point in an already heated debate. Perhaps the biggest reason the clip gained traction is because it didn't come from someone widely known as an opponent of Charlie Kirk. Instead, viewers saw someone who had once been connected to the organization expressing serious concerns about its direction after Charlie's death. Whether people agree with his conclusions or completely reject them, his comments added another layer to a controversy that was already growing larger by the week. And for many people following this story, that naturally led to an even bigger question about what happened behind the scenes next. Another issue that's been getting a lot of attention involves fundraising letters. Across social media, some people have claimed they received donation requests from Turning Point USA, even though they say they never knowingly shared their personal information with the organization. That has left many recipients asking the same question. How did their names and mailing addresses end up on the distribution list? Several users posted screenshots and personal accounts online. One user on X wrote that they received a fundraising letter from Erika Kirk despite saying they had never previously heard of her and had never donated to Turning Point USA. Another user shared a similar experience, saying they received a donation request containing language that closely matched Erika's public messaging and wondered how the organization had obtained their contact information. Those posts quickly gained traction because many others claimed they had similar experiences. It's important to note that organizations often obtain mailing lists through a variety of lawful methods, including voter databases, commercially available mailing lists, partner organizations, or previous event registrations. At the same time, those explanations haven't stopped people from asking questions. The online discussion continues because many recipients insist they have no memory of ever interacting with the organization directly. The conversation became even more intense after another former Turning Point USA employee, Joshua Peterson, publicly shared his own concerns. In interviews and online videos, Peterson alleged there was an internal faction within the organization that disagreed with Charlie Kirk's leadership and raised concerns about financial management. Those are serious allegations, and they have received significant attention because they came from someone who previously worked inside the organization rather than from an outside critic. Peterson's claims also reignited discussion surrounding reports that Charlie wanted a broad financial review of the organization shortly before his death. According to reports that have circulated publicly, Charlie sent an internal memo on September 2, 2025, calling for an organization-wide audit. If authentic, that timeline means the request came roughly 1 week before the events of September 10th. Naturally, many people have focused on the timing because it adds another layer to an already complicated story. It's important to separate established facts from speculation here. The reported audit request exists as a subject of public discussion, but that alone does not establish why Charlie requested it or what conclusions such an audit might have reached. Likewise, there is no verified evidence establishing a connection between the reported audit request and the circumstances surrounding Charlie's death. Those are separate issues, and it's important not to treat speculation as established fact. Even so, critics continue asking why the reported audit has received so little public attention since Charlie's passing. They argue that if Charlie believed a comprehensive financial review was important enough to request shortly before his death, then naturally people would expect questions about that process to continue afterward. Whether that expectation is reasonable or not, it remains one of the most frequently discussed topics among those following this story. Attention has also returned to Erika's leadership role. Since taking over as CEO, she has repeatedly said her goal is to continue Charlie's mission and preserve the organization he built. Critics, however, argue that continuing someone's legacy could also include addressing issues they reportedly wanted examined. That doesn't mean any wrongdoing occurred, but it does explain why some observers continue asking whether the reported audit was ever completed, and if so, whether any findings will ever become public. The fundraising campaign has also remained part of that discussion. Critics question why donation appeals continue so aggressively when reports suggest the organization received substantial financial support after Charlie's death. Supporters respond that large nonprofit organizations require ongoing fundraising regardless of previous donations because operating costs, political campaigns, educational programs, and staffing expenses continue year-round. Those competing viewpoints have kept the debate alive for months. Another point raised online involves the audience receiving these fundraising requests. Some critics argue that younger supporters and college students may feel pressured by repeated donation appeals despite having limited financial resources. Others counter that political organizations across the ideological spectrum regularly seek small-dollar donations from supporters, and that recipients are always free to decline. Once again, the same facts have produced very different interpretations depending on who is looking at them. As this discussion spread, countless opinions appeared across X and other social media platforms. Some posts defended Erika and Turning Point USA, while others were sharply critical. One particularly viral post made sweeping allegations about the organization and Erika's role in it. Those claims reflect the personal opinion of the individual who posted them and have not been established as fact. Still, the post gained significant attention because it captured the frustration and distrust that some critics say they now feel toward the organization. Whether viewers ultimately agree with the critics, the supporters, or somewhere in between, one thing is clear. Questions surrounding the organization's finances, fundraising practices, leadership decisions, and internal management continue to generate enormous public interest. As more information becomes available through public reporting and official proceedings, people will undoubtedly continue examining these issues closely and forming their own conclusions based on the evidence that emerges.